Welcome back, ladies and gents, to another TCR Live. This time in the garage. We've got the fan going because it's currently 20 odd degrees outside and I'm dripping, to say the least. So 1 second while I just pause this advert that's playing on here, keeping the stream going, and we'll check in and see who is talking. But before we begin tonight, let me just adjust the music. I owe a few thank yous to quite a few people. The first thank you obviously is to everyone that's spent all the time, it's a spare couple of seconds, a spare few minutes tuning into the videos and tuning into these live streams. If you didn't tune in, I wouldn't do it. So obviously a big thank you to you lot. And then there's some individual thank yous that I need to do. I'll just bring up my list, and that's to Ben Griffin, Paul Sullivan, Gareth Morgan, Keith Mossop, and I Am Jawa and Cole from Classic Mini DIY. Little did I know last week that on these live streams you can do something called a super chat, which I've never heard of. And this enables you to make a contribution to the channel, and all those guys donated last week, and like I say, I was absolutely gobsmacked. So a massive thank you to you, and obviously a huge thank you to everyone that has continued to tune in. And today is a special day, it's VE Day, so I hope you've all paid your respects, I hope you've all hung your flags high outside the building, and you've all sunk a few of these. And tonight, that brings me to Moretti. I'm not on Tiger, I'm not on Corona, I'm actually on Moretti. So let me just whiz into the computer and see who we have got in tonight. Right, who have we got? Let's have a look. Let's have a look. Let's have a look. Have a look. Have a look. Indigo, Ruben, you're here. Nick Harrison, Purple Monkey, mainly Minis, James Hogg. Good to see you again. Turbo Cooper Sport. I learnt from the last one and had a poo before watching. Well, Steve, I'm glad you shared that with us. I've just had to go for a wee before streaming, obviously. And the Whitelaw, Ben McIlwain, if that's how you say it. Happy VE Day, Matt Piper, hello. Slipstar, evening, I liked the video already, thank you very much. Lee Blake, evening all, evening all, evening all. How many have we got in? Right, this brings me back to what I said last week. There's 47 of you in right now, and we're only up to 16 thumbs up. So get below, do your job, do your bit, and keep this channel going. I'm going to watch for this rise now. So let's see. Oh, that's two straight away. Elwood Mini Works, hello. Ben Griffin, he's here. Hi again, Ben. I think if you didn't miss, I've just done a thank you to you. I don't know if you've only just tuned in. Hi from South Africa, Andrew Price. No way. So, South Africa, a big way away. In tonight's stream, there is something that I do need to sort of say. Hang on, let me get a bit lower. There is sadly going to be no quiz tonight because I've not had a chance to do any prizes, source anything. It's been a bit of a nightmare, and I've still not posted last week's prizes just because of how busy everything's been and stuff that's going on at home. So tonight there isn't a quiz, but I've got a few things that I want to talk about and a few things that I've noticed lately that's going on in the car world that I think is actually worth having a discussion about. Also, if you're all drinking, whether it's tea, coffee, beer, Tito's or whatever, drop it in the comments and let me know because I'll be reading those out in a few seconds. Let me just catch up. Hi all, ready with a coffee in hand, Graham W? The things I'll do for a beer, Vicky Whittle. Missed the last one, but back this week on the homebrew again, but not sure what I'm drinking. Andy Whitelaw, yes, a moonshine drink I will say, but he makes his own beer. Apparently I'm always on the piss. It's just a Friday night, Sid, just a Friday night. Oh, are you on the beer Moretti? Yes, Sophie, I'm on the beer Moretti, and I think you know where that's come from. Third Doom Bar, good pint. Watching this, drinking beer, surrounded by Union Jack Bunting. Yeah, James, to be honest, not a lot of my neighbours have done anything on the street, but I know some of my friends is bunting everywhere and things going on, so yes. Thanks for tuning in. Cream soda. Oh, wine. What wine are you drinking, Graham? I hope it's red, and I hope it's a Malbec. Having a Yorkshire tea, Cam's Cars. Right, so what I wanted to talk about was, and hopefully, I don't know if he's tuned in right now, but a friend of mine, Carl, has got quite a few exotic cars. Now, I'm really keen to do a video on these cars, but I know Carl's quite, not secretive, but he doesn't like to flash what he's got. But I hope he doesn't mind me saying this, but these three cars that I really want to drive of his. One of the main one is, and I want him to let me do a video on this so bad, and if you think he should let me do a video on this, please say, Carl, let him do a video on this in the comments. Carl with a C, by the way, I think. And he's got a Mark 1 RS2000 Ford Escort Mexico, yellow with black stripes, and it's absolute porn, to say the least. And yes, it's one of those cars that you look at, and if you're a bit of a nerd like myself, you get very weak at the knees for it, and I really want to do a video on it. I did film part of it in one of the very old mini videos, but nothing more than a start up and a quick, snapshot of it. So there's that I want to do a video on. And then he's also got a Porsche 911, and if I remember correctly, I think it's a turbo, and it's an older one. It's black with like yellow accents on it. It's a stunning car. And I really, again, wanted to let me do sort of a film / documentary on that. So if you think he should let me do that, drop it in the comments and I'll nib away at him and see if he can let me do it. So Carl, like I say, if you are watching, mate, when everything's sorted, if we can sort something out, I'm pretty sure myself and the viewers would love it. I don't know what you'll get out of it other than watching me look like an absolute smiling little child, but yeah, it'd be great to do a video on that. James Hogg, Mark 2's a better, but come on, Calvin. James, to be fair, I honestly think the Mark 1's are a much nicer looking car. My mate Mike up the road, he's got a Mark 2 Ford Escort RS2000, and he actually rallies it, and it is a beast of a machine. But, and I say but, there's something about the Mark 1's where I just look at them and they're just absolutely gorgeous. Even the Mark 1 Cortinas, I love those as well. So everyone's saying, Carl, let him do it. Andy, I tried to make wine with a grape juice, but come out crystal clear. It tasted like gin. I put a bottle of apple and blackcurrant, diluted it in a carton of cranberry, but it's dangerous stuff. It sounds it, Andy. So yeah, there was there's something that I found this week as well. I'm just going to turn this fan down because it's absolutely buzzing away. But something I found out this week, and it was a topic really that I couldn't sort of not say anything about, and it's not mini related. I've got something mini related that I want to talk about in a bit, but there was one car that came out in late 2012, early 2013, and it was the Jaguar F-Type. Now they did it in an F-Type R and an F-Type S, and now they do a 2-litre version, but don't know why you would want that. Anyway, these cars, when they come out, the F-Type S was £68,000 in 2013, so 7 years ago. You can now pick them up with reasonable mileage, being about 60 to 70,000 miles, for less than £20,000. You can pick them up for about 18, 19 grand. And I never ever thought I would see, that is basically, in my eyes, a budget supercar. I know it's not got the astronomical horsepower, but that is a car that when it drives past, it doesn't blend in. I call it the E-Type of today, and a lot of people might disagree with that, but it is a gorgeous car. And you can pick them up very cheap. In fact, the prices are rocketing that much, not rocketing, the prices are plummeting that much. It's going to get to a point where I think you'd be able to pick them up for 12, 13 grand. And to get a car that's 380 horsepower, and you're talking a 4-second car, 0 to 60, and it's stunning, I can't disagree with that. I think it's absolutely amazing. And I've seen them, let me just grab it up here. I pulled a few specs up. I don't know the ins and outs of them, but the one I was looking at, it was 380 horsepower. It has a staggering MPG of, let's face it, 26 miles to the gallon, and that's quoted, so it's probably less than that. 3-litre V6 supercharged, and the crackle noise on those, for the money that they're going for at the minute, absolute bargain if you ask me. And I've also noticed BMW M4s, the prices on those at the moment are just so cheap. And when I say cheap, obviously £20,000 is a lot of money, but when you compare it to the value of the car, what it was new, they've rocketed. And obviously we know Jags have horrific depreciation unless they're classics, but an F-Type for 18 grand, come on, you can't turn that up. So it brings me on to saying that I think when I've completed the house and once the truck is up on the lease, I might have to see if I can convince Sophie to let me part with a bit of money and hopefully buy one of those when they're even more cheaper. Let me know what your thoughts are as well on the F-Type. I think it's an absolutely stunning car. If I could actually, well, again, I might get hate for this personal preference, if you could put an F-Type R, not the S, an F-Type R. Everyone goes for the S because it was just a better all-round car, and the V8, it doesn't really need the power more, it just sounds a bit better. But if you could put the F-Type R and the Nissan R34 or R35, the later one, the GTRs, if you could put those next to each other, I would pick the F-Type all day long. Let's have a look. Never driven a Mark 1, would love to. My granddad had a Mark 2. So there's that. And you know, there's other things that I've been thinking as well lately. I read something the other day that car sales have dropped 90%, closer to 100% if we're going to be accurate. And my analogy of this is, right, imagine a car production line like on a conveyor belt. There's cars coming off every minute, and the buyers, we're the funnel. So they come off the production line, they land in the funnel, and they get sifted out to the buyers. What's happened at the minute is the buyers have stopped, and that funnel's become a bowl. So all those cars are piling up. One, where are they going? Two, what effect is it having on the production lines? And three, is there going to be a knock-on effect where when everything gets back to normal, our car price is going to be so cheap, or are they going to be really high? It's again, we're in a situation at the moment where the market is so different, and we've never experienced this. We don't know what's going to happen. We know food and drink at the minute is quite expensive because there's demand for it, but there's been no demand for cars, and all these car salespeople and all these companies like BMW, Jaguar, Ford, Porsche and all that, Volkswagen, all these cars are getting made and they're not moving. So what's going to happen? Have they just made the ordered cars? Have they made the stock cars? I don't understand what they're going to do with it. Is it going to be the fact that you can pick up a Golf GTI for 15 grand when things get back to normal? I don't know. Let me know what you think, because it is quite a weird topic that I would like to discuss really, and it's something a bit different. Crazy Craigie, F-Type is sexy looking car, good choice. Yeah, F-Type all over the GTR all day long. Stephen King. Yes, it is just what a car. It's the noise for me. That crackle. I know you can get cars that pops and bang, but a F-Type that makes that noise for me, it's a car that it's a childhood dream basically. I think I was 17 when that car came out. Sorry, I'll just have to crack open another Moretti. I was 17 when that car came out, and Lewis Haywood has just told me that I suck toes. Cheers, Lewis, mate. I would say that you suck something else, but we are PG rated and I can't go down that line, mate. But Lewis Haywood, for everyone that knows, is one of my mates, and he was a guy that was going to be involved in this sort of Top Gear rip-off film challenge thing, and it all went to pot because of what's going on in the world. So yeah, and he's apparently missing me. I'm missing you too, mate. Let me just do a bit of catching up then. What's your thoughts on an electric classic Mini? Would you consider one in the future? Auto shambles. This is a topic that I'm going to come to later, and it's more what is the future for electric cars. And just a quick glance before I continue on this one. There's 67 of you watching, but there's only 41 thumbs up. Get pressing that button, boys and girls. But yeah, the electric cars of the Minis and electric classic cars in general, I genuinely do think it's something that's going to have to happen, and it is happening. But I have a worry on the offset of that. I have a worry that the fact that the government and the people, the eco-warriors, will pick up on the facts going, well, people are still driving classic cars and they're having them converted to electric or EVs and hybrids to still enjoy them. Now, to me, a classic car is all about the noise, the smell. The car is just about being as it is originally, and I've got a feeling that, especially in the UK, it's either going to get to the point where we can't drive them in congested areas like London, and I think Manchester will end up going that way, especially Birmingham as well. But I'm concerned to the fact that they're going to go, no, they'll be taxed to the high heavens. So the tax on the Mini at the moment is, is £125 a year, and obviously you can get some that are tax exempt. But my concern is they're going to flip it and they're going to go, no, if you want to drive your petrol engine car, it's going to cost an absolute fortune, and it's up to you whether you want to do it, or get it converted and there's no tax on it at all. But the cost of the conversions alone, I can't remember, I'm sure the Mini one was about 65 grand off the top of my head to convert it. And some of these cars that are getting converted, they're not new stuff, they're using like old batteries out of like Nissan Leafs and stuff, and to me, you just put in old running gear in a car, and we know computer technology doesn't last the same way as like engines do. It's a physical, it's a mechanical bond, and you probably get more life out of an engine than you would out of a computer. Like MacBooks, for instance, yeah, they're practically bomb-proof until they go wrong. So I don't really see how it's going to go. It's something that I'm very concerned about, being a classic car owner. Is it going to get to the point where I can't afford to run them, or is it going to be a case of, nope, continue the heritage, we like it, and you can drive them whenever you want? The other side is, the classic cars, you don't, for me especially, I know people daily them, I don't, but for me, I did less than 1,000 miles in my Mini last year, and if you work out the pollution that creates, it's next to nothing. For me, the problem with pollution is the planes in the sky. Look at the weather now, especially in the UK. There's been no planes travelling for weeks on end, and we've had 4 or 5 weeks of pure sunshine in Manchester, and that is something that is completely unheard of. If you know Manchester, you will drive around the ring road and you'll just see a grey halo in the middle of the city centre, just absolutely lashing it down all the time. So electric classic cars is a very strange one, and I don't really know where to go with that one, to be honest. Battery life is a big negative for me. Yeah, it is, James. My friend Peter Greaves, he's doing a TV programme on electric classic cars at the moment. His mate converts them, and he's got a T2 bay window camper van, and he's put it on Tesla running gear. It's like 400 horsepower or something, and it's mental. But when you accelerate, all you get is tyre screeching. For me, you want to hear that throatiness of like throttle bodies and carburetors, and it's not for me. It's not for me. I need to catch up. Let me catch up here. Less than 1,000 cars sold last month. Yeah, GT Productions. I've heard like I think the figure quoted was 97%. The sales are down. It's a very worrying. It's not just for the car industry, but businesses in general. Let's have a look. What we're saying here. Ben Griffin, I couldn't imagine owning a Mini that didn't break down. Oh, tell me about it, mate. I wish I didn't own a Mini that break down, but sadly that is the thing that seems to happen with them. Yeah, Top Gear got less than 35 miles out of belief with old batteries. This is it. Tesla, for me, are absolutely dominating the battery market, and the clever thing about Elon Musk is, although he said from day one, I can't compete with the car manufacturers, the car technology in a car is far advanced with like Mercedes and Volkswagen. You look at a Tesla, it's all Mercedes switchgear and everything else, but Elon did quite a clever thing. He invested all of his money into battery technology, and his battery technology is better than any car manufacturer out there. So I will guarantee Tesla will stay a small company, but in the background Elon will be selling those batteries to the car manufacturers, and that is how he's going to make his absolute mint. Because let's face it, Teslas, they're great because of the performance figures. They're great because of how fast they go, 0 to 60 in 2 seconds, whatever it is in ludicrous mode. But they're not a pretty car in my opinion. They're not pretty, they're very basic inside, futuristic, I get it. But let's face it, the Tesla Model S, it looks like a posh Mondeo. And there's nothing wrong with Mondeos, but you're spending that sort of money, you want something that looks a bit better than that in my opinion. So a battery will only do so many cycles before it needs replacing. Very true. Evening Dave Jaguar from Austria. I have to ask Tom as well what I think he'd like to be. What's this, Soph? Have I missed something? Hang on. I can't find it. 1 second. Someone's put something and I'm trying to find out. I remember our conversation from last week. Yeah, Graham was seemed to be siding with my missus a bit last week, and I got a bit of not hate, should we say, but I think my missus was airing all of her problems. She wants to know. Okay. We won't go there. We can fix petrol engines, electric. Well, yeah, Graham, that's another thing with fixing petrol engines and fixing electric cars. You're basically looking at a motor and a computer under the bonnet. And my next door neighbour, he's a mechanic, and I ask him all the time, I say, what do you do if a hybrid comes in? He goes, I don't touch it. I can touch the engine, but I don't touch it. He says, I'll MOT it and do things like that, but he won't get involved in any diagnostic faults. And this is something where, with electric vehicles, unless garages are willing to become trained up on them, I can see it putting small garages out of business, because everyone will be electric and they won't have the confidence to go to a small garage. They'll go back to the manufacturer, and then these little garages are probably not picking up as much work, so it's a bit of a worry. Electric cars are more robust as they're less mechanical moving parts, but as we all know, the battery facts let them down. Yeah, Elwood Miniverse. Yeah, I agree that they're solid, but like I say, the battery technology is not there. Sorry, Tom, I'm not going to cause maritals this week. Graham, I'm only minding you, don't worry, mate. Dave Jag, Tom, it's a fact that the electric car manufacturer is a bigger carbon footprint than mechanical cars. Yes, I genuinely do agree with that. And people seem to think electricity is free. and it doesn't create pollution. But obviously it does, it comes from a power station. The bigger the demand, the more pollution there is, but the car doesn't produce any. So I get what they're saying. They're probably saying, well, look, we can produce this much electricity, but when the car's being used, there's no pollution. So they've lost the pollution there and they've increased it a bit here. So I think the actual carbon footprint, like Dave says, it's minute what we're talking. MOT test your water not to touch anything orange. Yeah, Nick, we do. I agree with that. Totally agree with that. So, like I say, it's one of those things that I seriously don't see myself getting into, and I'm not sure how I'm going to. It's quite an awkward one, really. My view in general on EVs, and I said it's a similar thing with the classic cars. My view in general, it doesn't appeal to me as a car guy. I must admit, the more I see Teslas, and there was one thing that somebody said to me where it stuck in my head. He said, you might complain about an electric car, but he said, imagine waking up to a full tank of juice every morning. Now, I understand that, I get that, but for me, it's like, if I get in my L200 or I go somewhere, it's got a range of 550 miles on a full tank, quoted. It probably does about 380 if I'm lucky. And when that 380 is up, I pull into a petrol station, 5 minutes in, fill it again, and I'm off. But it's the waiting for me. If you could charge a car in 10 minutes, 10, 15 minutes, I'd be happy, but you're talking 30, 40 minutes, and you know, it's like people saying you're getting that range anxiety where you're thinking, will it make it? And it's just, I don't know. I just don't see the fun in it. Just use E85 like in Australia. Do you know, that's ethanol intake. Now, there's a funny thing about that, Nick. Someone pointed this out to me. The registration on my Red Minute is E85 PWD, and it looks like it says E85 powered, the reg, and it never clicked until someone said that to me. And I've seen a video Mighty Karmas did where they ran their Mini on E85, and I'm not sure what the benefits or the results are. I know over here, it'd probably be like rocking or shit to even get hold of that sort of fuel, but you never know. Right, Dave's on his vodka and orange again. He loves a vodka and orange, as I learnt from IMM, because we was all trolleyed while I was there. Leon, I live next to Nissan in Sunderland and there's no one doing anything there. There's no cars in the compound at all. See, it's worrying, and it's not, like I say, not just for the car industry. Sorry, I'm just catching up, people. It's hard to keep up with this. It's got a bit nuts. Like I say, if none of you have tapped the thumbs up button, please do it. Always helps. What's Planet of the Human Technology Fuse just electric, isn't it? Yeah, I'll have to have a look at that. Hey up, Chuckles, Mr. Mike Phillips. I was talking about you a minute ago. We was having the debate about Mark 1 RS2000s and Mark 2s, and I said the Mark 1's the prettier one, and a lot of people said the Mark 2 was. I like both, just my choice would be the Mark 1, but Mike's the guy that's in the comments that's got the Mark 2. He's also got, which brings me to do this. Actually, I think I made a note of this. 1 second. Yes, there is. So in a bit, I'm going to talk about a couple of cars I want to feature on the channel, and Mike's got a car, so we'll dip into one of them now, and we'll come to the others later. But Mike's got an E90 M5 Touring, and to me, I don't know why BMW have never made another M5 Touring. It's his car. He's, without going into figures, because he did tell me what he paid for it a long time ago, and he got it for an absolute bargain, and you look at them now, the prices have gone through the roof, because the simple reason is they're rare as rocking horse shit. And he's got his E90 M5 Touring, 500 horsepower, I think it is, 5 litre V8. It sounds V10, sorry, 5 litre V10. It sounds ridiculous, and he goes to the Nürburgring in it, and it is a car that I do want to feature on the channel, and hopefully he might let me take the wheel in it. Might you might. E61, sorry, not E90. Apologies. I get so confused with the E numbers on BMs. Right, what's Sophie saying? Let's have a look. Hey Tom, sorry I am late. Have I missed anything, Mini Madness? Not really, mate. Other than the fact that I asked you the other day if I could use your band's music, and you said yes, so that will be coming soon. That's another thing, actually. If there's any people that play in bands, like, you know, musical bands, and you've got your own music, and you want a bit of exposure, or you want to have it listened to, I'm actually looking for music that I can put in my videos, and if you're willing to let me use it and get rid of the copyright for me so I can, you know, have the permission to use it, I will use them on my channel. So if you have got any songs you want me to listen to, send them to tom@totalcarreviews.com. Make sure there's 2 R's in the middle, and I will look forward to getting those on. There is one thing I do need to ask, or well, not ask, I need to tell you. There we go, Mike's put the correct figure in. 507 horsepower, 5 litre V10. Yes, you can see why I want to feature that on the channel and do a proper, you know, in-depth of the history of it, driving it, potentially if he lets me do it, hopefully, and present it in a way that you would expect to see a history story about that car. Someone asked me a few days ago, panels for minis, and funny enough, Mike is actually a panel beater, but panels in general. Now, I'm no expert, I never have been, I never will be. The fan's gone off, I'm sweating. I never have been, I never will be, and I'm just basically a weekend welder. But somebody said to me, they said, panel wise for the minis, what would you buy? Would you buy Magnum or Heritage? Now, I was always a Magnum fanboy because they were up the road and it was easy for me to get them and they were cheap. But I've actually started listening to a few people and they said don't buy Magnum for the panels that have profiles on them. And what that means is, so I've got a Magnum panel here. These are door repair pieces, and with any recess on them or any fold, the fitment is absolutely shocking. The door steps were one of the worst fitting pieces of metal I've ever bought for the Mini. And you can even just look at that. I mean, just look at the quality of the dipping. I mean, they don't even dip the panels anymore. They just bring them out in metal, and this is the quality of them. Personally, I think the quality is shocking, especially with the pressing, and I don't know if you can see that. I mean, look at the waviness in that. And that is because the simple thing is, when you press a bit of metal and it's too big, what you tend to do is you tend to heat it up with oxyacetylene torch and hammer it flat. Magnum don't do that because there's always creases in the panels. So that's a Magnum panel, and this is a Heritage panel. This is part of the rear valance, and the way to tell is with this. But look at the shine on the dip, and look, any little dodgy creases in that have all been knocked out flat, and it just, the finish is 10 times better, but the price is different, and you do pay for what you get. Now, my friend Dave Jag, many other people, James Hogg, Sean C, Keith Miller, everyone has been raving about a company called M Machine in Darlington. Now, M Machine make panels, and they're quite expensive, and everyone says they're just as good as Heritage, if not better. So I've bought an M Machine rear quarter repair panel, which is this, and to say the least, you can see the quality in the press there, and where any excess metal has been put in, you can see the hammer scorch marks where they've heated it up and hammered it flat. You can even see the heat marks there on the edge. And the more expensive, the steel alone just feels far more high quality, and the fit, I put that up to the car, the fit was so much better than the Magnum version. So panel wise, I always say buy the best you can afford, but learning the hard way, I would never buy a Magnum doorsteps, a Magnum scuttle, forget it. They're so bad. And Dave Jag told me that Magnum are probably one of the main reasons that kept the Minis going, because they copied the panels and they made them. But a Magnum panel always seems to be too big. And the reason for this is, Dave told me, that they were designed as cover panels. So say years ago, people weren't lucky to have a couple of cars and stuff like that. So on a Friday night, say they had a big hole in the floor and it was rusty and they wanted to pass an MOT, they'd take it to a garage and they'd just get a cover panel and stick it over and hide the rust to get it for its MOT, because they'd need it for the Monday. Without that, we probably wouldn't have as many Minis around today. But you can see why they take a lot of fettling. The door steps were too short on the Mini. I had to fettle so much just to get them to fit. It was just a nightmare. So learning the hard way, I would buy Heritage or M Machine. Then again, I've heard horror stories of Heritage panels, but so far they seem to be okay. Let me just see what everyone's saying. Well done, Magnum panels are poor. Yeah, they are, Mike. The Magnum's floor, right, who said that? Chris Beck, Magnum floor panels. The floor panels on the Mini are Magnum. Funnily enough, I've just sort of not slagged them off, but you know, just said what to buy them for. The one thing I do think is good are the floor panels, and people might disagree, but I had no trouble fitting them. they fit like a glove basically, and I blame that down to the area's big, the press is big, and there's not a lot of profile to put on it. So you can get away with it, but the doorsteps, scuttles, rear quarter repairs, hinge areas, anything like that, inner wings, I won't bother. The flitch panels for one, they overhang by about that much, and you have to cut them down. What's everyone saying? Ruben Piers, what would a brand new Mark 1 mini shell cost to buy? I'm pretty sure Magnum actually do one, and I think they're about 15 grand. I'm not sure. I think someone told me a while back, and I can't remember. But it's not a heritage one, obviously. M Machine sell both their own heritage panels and says, oh, very knowledgeable company. Yep, Steve, they are. The woman that runs it knows everything sort of in and out. The only thing that did sort of wind me up a bit about M Machine is they don't do online orders. They're rubbish with emails, and you just have to take the word for it when you phone them and order something. You don't get an email receipt. It's just like it'll come when it comes. But very knowledgeable. They're worth it, and they do make some of their own panels what Heritage and Magnum don't, like repair panels, especially the rear corner boot floor repair panels for the Travellers and the Clubman Estate like mine. Mark 1 mini shell for BM8 is 12.5 grand. Yes, it is a Mark 1 shell, 12.5 grand. But somebody told me this. Apparently, the floors aren't Mark 1 floors that are in it. Shells from Mini Sport are naff. Ben, do you know someone that's bought one? Because I've sort of heard this off a few people. But I don't think it's Mini Sport that make them. They just move them on. What's everyone saying? Andy White, well, my dad ordered a TR7 when he was dating my mum, and my granddad stopped letting her out of the house until he cancelled it, which he did. No way. Did he actually cancel that? Oh. Mark 1 Lotus Cortina, Ruben. Yes, I've seen that car on Top Gear. I never actually understood why they did that. Dave, me too, for the music, fed up with the copyright of the YouTube, please. Yeah, it is. It's annoying that, Dave, because a lot of the music I've got going in the background now, stuff like this, you know, no one knows it. It's just non-copyright music, and I pay monthly for it. I pay £10 a month to one company and £10 a month to another, and no one knows the songs. So for me, a live stream on a Friday night is if I'm having a laugh. You know, I want a bit of Oasis on, I want a bit of Stereophonics on, you know, Kings of Leon and stuff like that. But it's ridiculous. People think the copyright is because of the money that it brings in. It's nothing to do with that. Believe it or not, I put a video on where I've used a song, and the video has been banned in the UK because of that song. So when you put a video on and you go to click on it, it comes up, this video is not available in your country, and you click in it, it's because I've used a copyrighted song. It's silly, it's honestly. And if say I used a Michael Jackson song, if Michael Jackson's family wanted, I don't know, the 14p of money that my video generates just to not have that copyright strike, you can have it. But the copyright on YouTube is ridiculous at the minute. And I can't remember, there's an article about it, and it's got Article Summit it's called, and they're on about saying if you've got branded stuff in the background, and it's just getting silly. I've got a flipping Kit Kat sign in my garage, I don't know what we'll do about that. James, yeah, James, that's what I'm doing. If you know anyone that wants to do it, I'm definitely doing it. Everything but Give a Damn is copyright free. Yeah, cheers for that, mate. Yeah, I'm going to use someone's songs, and I want to do that. If there's anyone in the band that wants me to use their music, let me know, and I will do it. Andy Whitelaw, much more cost effective to repair if you have the time. It's not. I understand what you're saying there. Like for me, right, the way I would say this is, I've learned a lot doing the floors on the Mini, but the time it's took, if I was in the know and I was setting off from, yes, I know how to weld, I know how to do this, then I would have bought a full floor. But because I've thrown myself in at the deep end and I'm learning along the way, I thought I might as well just get the panels, and the more welding, the better practice it is. But today I had a really bad day on the car, and it resulted into so bad that I launched my welding mask across the garage and it broke, so I stopped myself from working all day. And what I do now is everything that I break in temper, because you do have those days where you launch stuff around the garage and you say every swear word that can come out under one breath. The things I damage, I call it temporabilia, so like memorabilia, temporabilia, and I put it up on the wall so I know that when it's broke, if you ever look at it, I go, yeah, that was that day that happened. So today, finishing the heel board off, I lost my rag and I broke the welding mask. It's been screwed to the wall now and I know that's when I broke it. But there is bad days, and yeah, it's one of those. What we're saying here now. Steve, I've never fully understood the copyright issue of YouTube. You can advertise products until your heart's content, but advertise music and your vid gets pulled. Steve, that is one. Do you know what? I've never thought of it that way, and you've really hit the nail on the head there. There's a company at the minute that are talking to me that want me to advertise their product, and I did one of the last ones. It was a jump starter for a car, a company called Ordu, and they're based on Amazon. And I did this jump starter for them, and they want me to now do like an air compressor that you can plug into your cigarette lighter and do it. But to me, I'll only review something that I wanna like, but there is nothing. YouTube and now said you've got to include this paid promotion thing, and if it's paid promotion then they deduct your ad revenue, but there's nothing stopping me going, they've not paid me to review that. But I'm an honest person, and like I say, I won't do something unless I fully believe in it. But with the songs, like you say, someone can say to me, oh Tom, here's this screwdriver, just use it in your video, make a sly comment about it, and you know, put in the description there's a discount code. And I'll be like, right, and I could do that and they could pay me on the sly, and that's not copyright because I'm using their brand. It just doesn't make sense. Sam Boswell, got the engine out of my Clubman in 2 days on the subframe, got it off subframe tonight and had a look at the floor. The last guy who owned it patched a hole over the floor with sound deadening. Yeah, Sam, very common. I found a piece of plywood in my floor the other day, held it with bog. Just, it happens, mate, and you've just sadly got to laugh at it. What's everyone saying? Graham, she asked, are they going to be calls? God, I don't know what's going on here. Yeah, James has confirmed there, they don't have the press tools to make a full Mark 1 shell. Ben Griffin, my mate works for a popular classic tuning specialist and has seen loads of the mini sport shells. They are terrible. Yes, I've seen what's sort of going on. Ben, this happened last week, right? Ben last week, I think he had a few beers and he got a bit happy and he did this super chat, which I had no idea what it was until last week. And he kept doing it and I was lost for words. So Ben, I'll thank you again. I'm assuming you want me to buy a hot dog with that, and if so, I will, or I'll make one. What was I saying then? You've got me sidetracked now. Yeah, the mini sport. Right, there's a story I've got with mini sport. Basically, I can't remember the woman's name. It might be Cara. There's a woman that works for mini sport. And I probably shouldn't have said her name, but there's no beef. I still use them. They're a good company, in my opinion, for the stuff that I need and stuff that you can get. 9 times out of 10, they've got it, and I can go and get it. But when I had the Mini featured in Mini World, I said to Mini Sport, I said, look, I'm looking to get in with a company because I said there's a bit of a grey area on YouTube or in the classic car world of where to buy certain items. And I said, what I want to generally do is, when I do a video, if someone subscribed to my channel, can we get a discount code set up where if they buy something through there's a percentage off, like 5%, a bit like what Mini Spares do with the Mini Forum. If you sign up to them, you get 7.5% off any orders. So I've asked them to do it, and I got in touch with the director, and he kept saying, yep, we'll do it, we'll come in and you can pitch to us and tell us your business plan. And it wasn't a business plan, it was just me wanting to help you guys out. It kept going on and on and on and on and on, and it never happened. And I spoke to the editor of Mini World, and one of the editors and one of the photographers, and he's for years been trying to get into Mini Sport, and say, look, can we do this where we do, you provide us with a product, we'll make the video of how to fit it and do that. And this was this photographer that wanted to do it, and it was all yes, but it never happened. And my simple thing is, I don't think they don't need the business, they don't need to advertise. I'm aware they've got obviously the UK, they've got Australia, they just don't need to do it, and fair play to them. If you get into a position where a business is that great, it's great. Lewis Haywood, that Carol Baskin, yes, great. It's a good, if anyone's seen that, Tiger King on Netflix, great documentary. Auto Shambles, I wrote to Top Gear in 1992 about the Lotus Carlton and got a letter signed by Jeremy Clarkson, signed saying that they have never tested it, and I've still got the letter. No way, seriously, that is, wow, at least you got a reply and a sign, that's brilliant. Sid, how many beers do you drink in a week? Normally, if I'm at work and everything's normal, I tend to only drink on the weekends, but when the weather's nice in the summer, you know, I might have a cheeky 1 or 2 when I come home, but I don't, it's not a problem, it's great really. I don't tend to drink to get drunk, I just drink casually, and I just drink just to have a social with friends and that, and family, and I don't drink to get absolutely slaughtered. Like most people won't drink unless they're going to get slaughtered, and I'm not like that, I just prefer to have it as a casual thing. So a week, at the minute, I'd probably say about 10 bottles a week at the moment, or so 10 bottles, probably between 10 bottles and 15 to 20, yeah, between 10 and 20 bottles a week at the moment. I like that Total Car Review sticker on your wall. I would like to put that one on my back window of my car one day. No way, Ruben, if you could do that, that'd be great. Get some publicity in South Africa. I've just noticed as well, there's 90 people watching, so thank you all. But again, there's only 65 of you that have pressed the thumbs up, so the other 25 get pressing. That would be great. Lewis, you just yeah, okay. Lewis Haywood in the comments has got, believe it or not, and this is a super rare car, and it's something I can't wait to see him get started on, and hopefully, if he'll let me, we could do a few videos on the build. He's got a Volkswagen Puma, and yes, very rare, never any for sale. He's got one, and his dad's got one, and his dad's one's a Minter. So if you want videos on that, say in the comments, Lewis, videos on the Puma, please. Will you do Total Car Review stickers for followers, Auto Shambles? I did used to do them, and the supplier that I used no longer does them anymore, and I'm getting them tweaked because what I found was, I don't know if you can see this, but round the actual sort of Saturn, like it's a Saturn logo, obviously it looks like a planet, but then these like hash lines here, like these stitch lines on the smaller stickers, they were an absolute nightmare to stick on the car, where you'd pull it off and it'd drop the middle of the A and it'd do all this. So I've actually got a new logo where it's eliminated this and it's just the lines, but I need to get some printed, and yeah, I do want to do them. But I'm also thinking of rebranding. I want to lose the Total Car Reviews because it's not, the channel didn't become what I wanted it to become. So I want to just abbreviate to TCR, but when you put TCR on that, it just doesn't work. So I need a new logo really. So if there's any logo creators in the comments, let me know and we can do some business together. Let's have a look. What do you think of the Mark II Granada with a Rover V8 and lowered? Total Car, you sent you a picture last week. Yes, you did, Max. It looks absolutely ridiculous, mate. And I think you did say your dad said I would be able to come and do a video on that and potentially have a drive. And that is something that I genuinely do want to do once all this lockdown is over. When I get a bit of free time, we'll sort it out, get some nice shots of it, potentially use the drone and that, and it'll be a great video to feature, I'm pretty sure. V8 engines, everyone loves a V8, and I could honestly say I've never driven, no, I have driven a V8, I'm lying. I was going to say I've never driven a V8, but I have. Just Google the VW Puma, oh yes please, I'll have to read about it later. Yeah, Graham, they're so rare. They're, look at Lewis Haywood on Instagram. Mate, you're hijacking my audience, what are you doing? It's alright. Yeah, honestly, I didn't even know what they were until he said to me. He had a white Mini that he was doing a diesel engine conversion on with a BMW engine in it. And one day he just messaged me saying, do you want to buy my Mini? And I was like, I'm not really, mate. I said, why are you getting rid of it? And he said, I can't say, but if I pull it off, it'll be worth it. So I was like, what are you buying? And then he was driving home and with a trailer, and he sent a picture of just the car at the back window, and I could see it covered up. He said, what do you reckon it is? And I think I guessed it was a Mustang, and it wasn't. It was this Ford Puma, and I was like, what's one of those? And when I looked into it, oh my god, they look so cool when they're done. hang on, who's put that? 1 second. I've just seen a great comment there. Where's it gone? Callum Brook, do real boys come back from the gulag, Tom? This is the gulag, if nobody knows what it is. It's a thing on Call of Duty where you go in a prison cell and you have to fight to get back in the game. And it's the only place that I get effed over in my entire life because I just can't win it whatsoever. So I'm not a real boy in that opinion. If you enter the Minisport HRCR Championship, you get a discount code for parts for your Mini at cost price. True on the HCR. Our GT Productions, what? So is there a special code for that? If that's the case, I need to know that code. Reese Cowley Shaw, how many of those soundproofing panels did you use when doing on a Mini? I used one box of 4mm for the floor, and I used one box, I think it was of 2mm for the roof and the doors. Sorry, the floor. The one box did the floor and the rear quarters, and then I used one box of the smaller stuff for the roof. Alex Toon, favourite variant on the Mini? By variant, do you mean like original models or things that people have done to them? Let me know and I'll answer that question. Ben Griffin, are you on standard or classic insurance on the Mini, Tom? I'm actually on classic insurance. I'm with Adrian Flux. Now, there's a lot of bad stigma with Adrian Flux, but they were cheap. And the way I've gone with Adrian Flux is I'm not actually insured with Adrian Flux. They're like the broker, and then I've gone to a third-party company, which I can't remember what the name is, but they were really cheap. There's also a company that I've got for the VTEC on the side of the house. That's actually insured, not insured to drive. I've got something called a laid-up policy on it, and I pay it with classic line insurance, and it's about £100 a year, so £10 a month. But that covers me for the value of replacing that car, not to the new value, but what I paid for it and what it stands me at currently. And it also covers me for other things I've got in the garage, like panels and, you know, the odd screwdriver in there. And it's a great thing. It's for £100 to have that peace of mind to think if someone just pulls up with a trailer and gets rid of it. But yeah, I'm on classic. Mr. Toon, I've heard you've had a problem with those. Luckily I haven't yet, but I understand if you've got beef with them. Got mine for 90 of Her Majesty's pounds. Yeah, Flux are cheap. I've heard the customer service isn't great if you have to use them, but I've got an agreed value on the red one of I think it was 15 grand I got an agreed value of it on for, but to get that, it was an absolute nightmare. When I first applied for it, I sent them the receipts, and it was like, no, we value it at 4.5 grand. And I was like, 4.5 grand for a complete, not even surface rust, and rot surface rust, not a speck of rust anywhere on the car, free, and it was like 4.5 grand. And I was like, but you can't even buy a replacement shell for that. So anyway, back and forth, and then we eventually just settled on the figure of I had to provide the receipts, an itemised spreadsheet, photographs. I said this isn't including labour because I've done a lot of it myself apart from the bodywork, and we settled on the figure of 15 grand, and it naturally increases every year with appreciation by £1,000. But yeah, it's a bit of a nightmare. Max, have I done anything special for VE Day? I haven't. I've obviously paid my respects. I've just, you know, gone about my day and seen what everyone else has done, but I haven't done anything special, just with what's going on in the world and sinking a few beers, but other than that, not really. Reese Carly Shaw, that's amazing, thank you. I feel like I've got a shout out for Mini Royalty. Don't be daft, mate, I'm just a normal guy. You'll be doing 10 bottles in this video, never mind in a week, Mike. Yeah, maybe. But so these are the things with classic cars. They're a bit of a nightmare to maintain for one, and you've got to love it really. You've just got to love it. It's one of those. There's something. it's hard because when you get into the classic car sort of thing, it looks great from the outset. And I don't know if you all seen this, but the other day, a lot of people say to me, like, you know, how do you get time to do your house, do the car, and go about life? What a lot of things you guys don't see is it's the time that it takes me to do a video, it's the time that goes on. So what I might do is, just because I can't get a schedule for anything, I might spend a week on the Mini and video it, and then I might spend a week on the house, and then I'll edit both the videos and release them at the same time. So to you, you're like, how's he done that? How's he done that in a week? I haven't. It's time that's different. But with everything that goes on, there's a lot of time that goes into it. And I did a stream the other day in the garage. It was like a day in the life of this garage, and the stream was an hour and 15 minutes long. And it was sort of replicating how I have to move the camera and video it and do all this. And then just to make this little cardboard template and this cutout, it was like an hour and 15 minutes, and that was without even welding it in. So hopefully you can all appreciate how long it takes me to actually release an episode. Let's have a look. My father-in-law's insured for a disgusting 45k. Makes me feel ill. What? What's your opinion on tuning kits for the Minis? Elwood Mini Works. I'm assuming you're on about stage 1, stage 2, stage 3. Mine's got a stage 1 kit, very easy to do. It's a stage 1 kit of my own interpretation. I looked at what was in the stage 1 kit and I bought it all separate, just because, excuse me, I wanted a stainless steel manifold, and it didn't come with that from Mini Sport or Mini Spares, wherever I did it. But the good, I've got, my Mini was 40 standard, and we've got a dyno run at 54 horsepower, and there's a few things done to it, like an air filter and that. They're all right, but you're not going to get astronomical results. I was lucky with a 54, to be honest, and you normally get about 5 horsepower for stuff like that. Stage 2, stage 3, not gone down the road, very expensive, but I think you'd be cheaper speaking to Mr. Paul Jeffries and getting him to build you an engine, and he will get you some astronomical results, because he's got a Mini that he's done for Dave Jag, and if I remember the figures correctly, he's got 100 horsepower at the wheels out of an A-series engine. James Hogg, this might be controversial, but I find the Mini scene not very welcoming and friendly. James, I understand what you're saying with this. When it's a bit of a difficult one. When I first ever went to a Mini show, it was Stamford Hall, and it was the first Mini show video that I ever did on YouTube. And when I went for the sole purpose of aspiration and looking at what I could potentially achieve with my car. And I looked at it and I was like, you know, what can I do with this? How can I do these things? And some people were very friendly, and I found the older people were a bit, not prudy, but, you know, a bit like, this is my car, it's a Mark 1 and this is where it should be. And they were a bit, didn't like the modified scene of it. And it's personal preference, but I'll talk to anyone. So it's sort of gone out of my head that now, but I can understand what you're saying. It's, I find the Mini scene, sometimes it's how big your wallet is, and for me it's not about that. It's about everyone's got the same interest and just getting on with life. Morris Minor scene is amazingly friendly. Ben Griffin should collab with SwiftTune and Tom, they seem like decent chaps. Ben. Do you know, a lot of people say to me, you should collab with this person, you should collab with that person. I don't. The problem, you've got to understand, for me to collab with these people, I've got to get the numbers up, and the only way I can get the numbers up is by you guys. So I've tried to get a collaboration recently with Allspeed, because I'm in the talks with Allspeed and someone else of doing the subframe for the Mini, and there's 2 ways I could go with it. But Allspeed have been around a bit longer, and I want to see what they're about. And I sent an email out, and sometimes I get a response, you're just not big enough. I tried doing a collaboration with Volkswagen. I know it's a massive company. Not Volkswagen, and I wanted to do something at Goodwood with them. And I sent them an email. Luckily, they replied. I emailed loads of people, and they replied. And they said, great work, what you're doing, really appreciate it. However, without sounding sort of derogatory, you're just not big enough for us. We tend to deal with people with 50,000 subscribers more. And I was like, so my response was, well, it's not 50,000 subscribers. You might have a 50,000 subscriber channel, but it gets 500 views. So it's the views really, and it just didn't go anywhere. So for me to deal with someone like SwiftTune, Nick Swift, there's got to be something in it for him as well. And other than exposure of people seeing a Swift Tune engine, in all honesty, I don't think he needs it. He really doesn't need it. He's been trading by the name for years, and everyone knows Nick Swift, Swift Tune. So I would love to do it, and if it can be set up with the help of people, I'll do it. But I just think I'll really struggle. There we go, Dave. 113 horsepower at the wheels and a 112.06 pounds of torque. There you go. That was built by Paul Jeffries, not Swift Tune. Evening, Tom. I never was short on time to accomplish heaps of stuff in life, cars, travelling, girls, until I had kids. So make the most of it. Then let's just jump and then focus on your kids. Simple. Mini man shed. Yeah, I am trying to make the most of it. It's something that I've spoke to Soph about. She knows that it's never going to sort of come to an end, me messing with cars, but there has got to be a balance. At the moment, there is no balance with what's going on in the world. I'm just having to do what I've got to do to keep busy and keep sane. From what I've seen throughout the mini YouTubers, they all seem a great laugh. We need a massive trip to the Nürburgring and a massive piss up. Yes, we do. It's something I want to do, and that this is a sort of saying that I was talking to my dad about this the other day. Actually, the mini YouTubers saying it makes me cringe a bit, because I know you don't mean it by that, but it's like there's a separation there. And the only reason I started doing all these videos was for my own benefit. It was like so I could look back in life. I knew the videos were never going to get deleted. I could look back and I could just be like, you know, I'll always cherish the day where I built a mini on the drive of my mum's house, and it's one of those. So we're not different from anyone else. And if you think we're a good laugh, great, because we do like having a laugh. And I'm just a normal person, always will be. Hang on, what's this? Tom, your girlfriend is asking you a question. Wants to know whether you're single, Tom. No, I'm not single, I'm with Sophie. We're back on. We're back on, we're back on, we're back on. I think we just lost there. Let me know if we're back on. Hang on, yeah, we're back, we're back. Jackley YT, how old are you? I am 24 years old. Not young, I'm feeling old now. There was, if you can all hear me now, sorry about that, I don't know what happened to the internet. But yeah, what I was saying was, there's a saying that a lot of people say, and it's could be from the older generation. I've heard it a few times of friends, and I've heard it a few times of my dad's mates. And the saying is, you're not a petrol head until you've owned an Alfa Romeo, if nobody knows what that is. Now, as much as I like that saying, I also massively disagree with it as well. I want to own an Alfa, don't get me wrong, I really want to own an Alfa. But there's so many ways now you can become a petrol head. Like, I was thinking this before. Years, when my dad was young, like 80, 90 horsepower, 100 horsepower was a really good hot hatch. Hot hatches now, 300 brake horsepower standard, and there was years ago these Ford Mustang engines that were 5 litre V8s, whatever they were, and they wouldn't even push 200 horsepower out, or they do 220 or 180. And horsepower nowadays is nothing. And what do you think defines you as a petrol head? Because for me, I just think it's, you know, you like cars, you like speed, you like sound, and I think that's enough to be a petrol head. And I don't necessarily think you've got to be geeky with engines and stuff to be a petrol head, but if you think you know what defines you to be a petrol head, then let me know. Chris Beck, got to go. Be seeing you. See you in a bit, mate. Tom, are you really only 24? Ruben, you're 21. Ruben, how old did you think I was? Yeah, I'm only 24, mate. Hey, we've got good numbers now, guys. We've got 80 people watching and we've got 80 likes, so keep it up. Oh, I'm gone. 1 second, the stream's lagging. One sec. I look older. Go on, Ruben, how old do I look? Are we still lagging? I'm just checking the internet now, 1 second. I hope we're not lagging. I've spent all day trying to get this sorted. The speed looks fine to me. We'll be on the phone 1 sec. Tell Sophie to stop using all the bandwidth. She's not with me, mate. She's at another house. 73, 45. Oh my God, that I've opened myself up for a bit of abuse there, haven't I? Mr. Toon, you're not a petrolhead if your daily is a diesel. I've got to disagree with that, mate. If you can find me a petrol pickup truck that doesn't cost more than £100 to do 380 miles, then I will go to that. But other than that, no chance, mate. Okay, now, right. Sorry about that if there was a bit of a lag. Reese Cowlishaw, mate, I've genuinely enjoyed watching your videos. It's been a pleasure. Not only have they been helpful, first round, you needing help building a door back up. Yes. Well, do you know, there was the whole reason behind that video was there was nothing on the internet about it. And it sounds mad, but even putting a door handle on and getting the locking mechanism to work, it was quite difficult. So that's why I did it. Lagging my end, but could be the fantastic Welsh internet. Carl, I probably agree with that because my house in Wales, I mean, I'm paying £25 a month for the internet and the best I get is 30 meg and it's just shocking. Ben Griffin, how come you went for a pickup, Tom, after having something like the GTI? Yeah, this is something that I wanted to release a video on. I don't know if you know, Ben, but I've bought a house recently and it's in Wales and I've been renovating it. And I had the GTI. I absolutely loved every minute of owning that car. I was so sad to get rid of it. But I came to a point with the GTI where the residual value on it had held so well. I had it 2 years and it had held where the fact that I got a part exchange offer where I'd only lost £500 on the car. And I thought £500 for 2 years motoring in a car that I've loved. I'm never going to get that opportunity again. So I traded it in for the sole fact of, while I'm doing the house up in Wales, I didn't want to be battering loads of mileage on a hot hatch and a desirable car because it would have just depreciated. And it was the lugging the stuff in and out. I didn't want to have to worry about ripping the seats if I throwing my tools in, and the boot was only so big. So in the end, and when I towed the Mini with a GTI, it was all right towing wise, but it was really at the limit. And I wanted a car where I thought, you know what, after the Mini, if I buy something a bit bigger and a bit heavier, I can just lob it on the back of the truck and not have to worry about it. So that's why I got rid of it. So the truck I've been using for the house in Wales, and you know what, my GTI, I loved it. It was an automatic, it was a great car, so fast. But that truck, there's something about it, and it's a big dirty diesel. It's a 2.5 litre diesel engine. It's the biggest engine I've ever had. 200 horsepower, and I tell you what, it's like a sofa. You drive it, it's so comfortable, and that's why I got it really, for going to and from Wales. Why a pickup over a caddy? Just for the sole fact, James, of when I'm doing the garden and a lot of the stuff in Wales, I'm going to have to get like a 1 ton sacks of sand on the back and high peaked stuff. So that's why I went for the truck. And I can just see Ben's made yet another donation. Ben, thank you very much. It's you don't need to do that, honestly, thank you. But yeah, no, that's why I went for the truck over a caddy, just because you might think this is a bit geeky, but come on, I think pickup trucks, they do look cool. They look big, a big presence on the road, you know, and they just look beefy, and it's a comfy car. I don't know, I didn't want a van, I wanted something a bit different. And the beauty of the pickup truck is I can still chuck bikes in the back if I want to go on a bike ride, ever get a quad or anything that can go in the back, or trailers. It was just more practical. It's just not great on if you're sure you're not 45. Why? Is that because I've got a truck? Right, hang on, what's Reese said here? I think he's got a few. We'll be happy to get involved with you should you fancy a chat sometime. Still have a couple of mates in the voice of Joyce and Reese, if you do, I could not watch more of your videos. I used to work in the media industry, and I used to say you've got a brilliant eye for production and design. Your own design slick and the quality spot on. Reese, first question is to you. Why did you leave the media industry? Because I'm not going to lie, it's something that it's my dream job to be in the media industry. it's a passion that I found by accident, to be honest, doing these videos, and I don't get bored of it, and I'd love to get involved in it. So the fact you left is actually, I'm wondering why. What's the other thing you've said? We'll be happy to get involved with you. Yeah, honestly, mate, drop me a message on Instagram and I'll catch you up. Just at Tom Shorrock. But let me know why you left. Yeah, and the internet's so bad in remote areas, I agree with that. If you keep a legendary Hilux with your 250k on the clock and never lets you down, you're a petrolhead. Mini Man Shed, I take it you've got a Hilux with 250k on the clock? But yeah, Reese, let me know why you left. That's mad. And the fact you've said that about my videos, honestly, it's heartwarming because I do put a lot of effort into them. Ruben, how old is my missus? She is... I can't answer because I don't know. No, she's 23. Just got a kebab delivered. I've not had one of those for ages. Hang on, what's this? LX2. Would you get a mini pickup? Jacob Champion, would I get a mini pickup? Love them, like them, too expensive, and I don't want another mini, so probably not. I'd love one, yeah, but I just, you know, I just don't want a mini. Oh no, Tom, doghouse time. Do you know why I said she was 23? This is because her birthday was in lockdown when this has happened, and we didn't have time to spend it together, so I didn't even see Soph on her birthday. So that's why I think she was 23, but no, she is 24 because there is 6 months between us. But this is what happens when you get put in lockdown. You miss these family events, you miss these special times, and you forget things. Reese, Calishaw, honestly, cash flow. It's gutting because I loved it, but the money is hard to find in it. I had a stint from working for Global Radio, Capital Smooth. No way. Reese, I think I have just found somebody that we need to go for a beer when everything's over. So if you just drop me a message, mate, because I think after this YouTube live stream, I'll struggle to get in touch with you. But honestly, it'd be interesting to know because I've got a friend that's in the TV industry that's an actual presenter, and he seems to make a fortune out of it. So it's straight. I want to hear both sides of the story, basically. Yeah, Reese, just drop me a message though, mate, just on Instagram or something, please, pal. Gotta love the domestic on a live. Hey, this is bloody hell. This is content that no one's ever seen. What's she saying now? No, don't even go there, Tom. Sophie, give up. Let's set up a second channel. What's this? What's this? Carl Hayes can't see me ever selling my mini pickup, although it's having major surgery at the moment. I wouldn't sell it. I've always said with the minis that I've got, well, the one that works, the red one, I won't ever get rid. And there's a guy that's actually just bought my orange one that I did a video on. He's just bought it off Chris and Nikki, and fair play to him. I would have bought it if I had the money and the space, but it's one of those. It was always a struggle. So the red one I would never sell. The brown one, when it's done, I would consider selling because I want something different. Oh God, what's going on here now? Opinions on motorbike engines, Jacob Champion. I've never driven one. I did have the option to drive one, and then because I took so long to make the decision on it and actually get in touch with the person, he ended up selling it. So yes, I would love to drive an R1 Mini to see what the experience is. Personally, I haven't got any issue. If anyone does anything ridiculously unique, a lot of people hate on it, but I find it fascinating because someone's had the time to think, can I do this with that car? Yes, do it. So why worry about what someone else is going to think? So a bike engine Mini is something I'd really want to do. Yeah, too much blood, sweat and tears into the red one, mate. Carl, honestly, believe it or not, there'll be more blood, sweat and tears that goes into the brown one, but there's just something about it where I don't feel as attached to it as I'm still attached to it, but I just don't feel as attached to it as the red one. I don't know why. Reese, is she going to stay brown? Yeah, she's going to stay brown because that's why it's called the Turn Tech, but I might do like a hint of metallic in it or something like that. Do an MGB cam on cars. I did. This is right. So a lot of you probably don't know. I don't know who we've got in the stream that was here last week, but if anyone's in the stream and not thumbs up, do it now. But people probably heard this story, but I'll just quickly run over it so you can get up to date. When I was buying, Tom, I'll put 50 quid in your pot for you to give yourself a buzz cut. Mr. Toon, it'll take more than 50 quid for that, pal. When I was looking for the next project, I actually bought a camper van on eBay, a T2 bay window, and I won it for £1,600, and it was in Bournemouth, and it was a runner. It had an engine in it, but it was rotten. So, won it, phoned the guy to come and collect it. I said, well, are we all right to drive it on the trailer still? And he said, oh no, I pulled the engine out of it. So I was like, well, why? You said in your ad that it runs. And he said, oh, because I just wanted to check. I started tinkering with it and then I decided to sell it. I was like, well, you've lied, I don't want it because there'll be all bits missing now because he pulled all bits off it. So I sacked it off. Then I looked at MGBs and I looked at what MGB Roadsters, the convertibles. I looked at one of those and I was bidding on a couple. And in all honesty, I so wish, if I could rewind time, I wouldn't have bought that Clubman. It was a silly mistake. It was not a mistake. I feel I've always wanted to branch my channel out from just minis. I wanted my car to become an entertainment channel about restoring random cars. I didn't want it to be minis, and the fact I've done another mini now, we're going to be, by the time it's finished, it's a 4-year-old channel. And for 4 years we've done minis. I feel like I've sandwiched myself in an audience that's going to potentially reject me if I do anything else. But you've just got to follow your dreams. So I would do an MGB if I could. Yeah, but the club here, I think it'll be good when it's done, but it's not something it's not something I'll keep. It's something I'll use for a couple of years and then think, do you know what, I want something else now. They're hard to let go of when you've messed around with them for so long. They're really hard to part. Ben Griffin, 200 if you do the eyebrows too. No, I'm not, honestly. You're making out as if it's a pay-per-view sort of system this now. No chance. What's this? Ruben Piers, a grand? No, it's not happening. It's not happening. I'm not shaving my hair. It's bad enough as it is being blonde. But there was, when I said before, there was 5 cars. Well, so not 5. There's a few cars that I really want to feature on my channel, and there was a couple at the start that I mentioned that my mate Carl's got, and I'm hoping that he'll let me use them. And we've got the cars. There's cars that I want to feature. Obviously, I want to do Mike's E61 or E63. I can't remember what he's put. M5 touring. I really want to do a video on that. Obviously, the Mark 1 Ford Mexico, which is what Carl's got. I want to do that, and the Porsche 911. I want to do that. The turbo. I want to do a turbo one. I want to do a video on the turbo one. The one with the whale fin, the really old one. Is it a 928? I can't remember what it was called. And I want to do on a really early 911 a single one if I could. But again, to get options like that, to drive cars like that channel and do videos on that, you need to be quite big. But I didn't even mention at the start, we hit 11,000 subscribers the other day, and that blows my mind. I remember 3 years ago starting this channel, I used to look at people and I thought, oh, they're growing so quick, 100k will come easy, and it's like, no, it's not done. And I've been going away at it and doing it, and I looked at my analytics from September last year to March. We went from 9,000 to 10,000, and from March to May, end of March, April and May. So April and May we've done 1,100 subscribers. So we've done 1,100 subscribers in 2 months, and it took us 6 months to do that, to get from 9 to 10. So if we continue to grow, the opportunities grow, better videos, better quality stuff, and you never know. I might be able to do it full time. No, I'm joking. I'll never be able to do this full time. It doesn't pay well enough. Bleach his ass crack. No. Right, what's going on in here? Ben Griffin, 911 on the channel will be ace. Yeah, it's, well, I know someone that's got one, like I say, Carl, my mate. He's got a Mark 1 Mexico and he's got a 911. And I want him to let me video it. And also, Mr. Tune's brother has said to me multiple times, which I've never took him up on the offer of, he's got a Ford Mustang Shelby Cobra, left-hand drive, that he's imported, and he said we could feature it on the channel, but I don't know what you lot think of Yankee cars, because, speaking of Yankee cars, if you've not seen the video that I personally am most proud of, which is the What Happened to Your First Car video, where I met Chris and Nikki, who bought my first car, and I got to drive it again, 7 years on, from when I sold it. And they have got some classic Mustangs. They've got convertible ones, the coupes. They've got the, you know, the real. I don't know my Mustangs well enough, but they've got every car you can think of: Daimlers, old Rolls Royces. And Chris said when this is over, we can go up and film some stuff. So if you want to see some weird stuff and some really exotic cars, then we're going to get them on the channel. But again, it's time. Any American muscle is welcome. Yes, well, certainly we'll get it done then. Shelby, yeah, it's a new Shelby. It's not one of the old Shelby Cobras. It's the current model of Mustang. Turbo and EP3. Phil, they're quite expensive EP3s, and you're gonna hate me for this because it sounds a bit contradictive, but Hondas, although I'm putting a Honda engine in a Mini, they've never really appealed to me. I've never looked at a Honda Civic and gone, I want that. When I was a kid, when I was about 10, there was a guy at the back on this other avenue, and he had a bright red Honda Civic Type R. And I remember looking at it and I thought, that's quite a sporty car. But I didn't know my cars as well when I was then. I weren't really mega into them until I started driving. And I've just never thought I'm going to buy a Honda. And my dad's got a Honda Jazz, and he calls it a Honda Jizz. Well, his wife's got a Honda Jazz, and he calls it a Honda Jizz, which we won't go into reasons why he calls it that. Cars are cars, weirder. The weirder the better. Well-made content is always worth watching. Well, this is it. And if there's a way that, if you lot think when I do a video, oh, why didn't you do this or why didn't you do that? Tell me now. If you want me to do something in a video, you think it'd be better if you could include this, do it. What's Ben Griffin put? Get the Honda Jizz on the channel. No, mate. It's no way. Remember the Honda CRX? Someone near you had one. Mike, was that the one? I'm not going to name the road because we're on live, but was that the one on the hill? The guy that had the MX5 that was absolutely slammed on its ass? Was it him? Because I'm sure I remember that. What we're saying here. Reese Cowley Short, I'm doing an engine change tomorrow. I'm a little unsettled about it. Top tips. I am straight swap from a 998 to a 998. Time. Honestly, the triple T's, time to think, look at it, think about it, do what you're doing. Jack it up on the subframes either side, get your axle stands on, take your drive shafts out, do your engine steadies, get your engine crane on it before you take your engine steadies off, take your bottom subframe mounts out, you know, where your engine mounts go onto the subframe, and get it up. One thing I will say is don't, if you're going to put new subframe engine mounts in, don't use the captive nut ones because they're crap, they'll never line up. Nut and bolt it, get a long spanner, it's a lot easier, excuse me. What we're saying here now, let's see what Mike said. Down near, no, I don't remember that one, Mike. Just obviously be careful, Mike, what addresses you're putting in there, because it's, oh, is Kaz in? Nothing wrong with my little Honda. Yeah, but Kaz, it doesn't, Caroline Shorrock's my stepmom, by the way, if no one knows. It's not worth a video, surely. But it's one of those things. But I tell you what, it's mad really. And again, I want to thank you all for tuning in. It's great that so many of you are actually willing to listen to me waffle for so long and just talk random stuff. Reese, so you're a star. Cheers. You influenced me to get your headlights too. Their quality is so much better than the daily job. Yeah, honestly, the standard headlights on a Mini are like candles. Oh God, the Honda Jizz is not coming on the channel. You can't do. You've got to. There's two. This is what I struggle with all the time, right? So when I make a video, you've got to think. When I make a video, let's say it takes me 2 days of working on the car and filming, and then say I want to do a 10-minute video. On average, that will take me about 10 hours to edit. It's about an hour a minute. So then there's 10 hours of editing, but then there's probably 10 hours of music sourcing. So that'll take us to about 20 hours, making sure the songs fit. So there's 20 hours there. Then there's writing the voiceovers, recording them. So you're probably talking, for a 10-minute video, there's 25 hours of editing time that goes into it. And for me, with that time invested into that, I want to make sure that video is going to do well. And well to me is getting the same amount of views as what my subscribers are. I don't care about, you know, the hundreds of thousands of views, but if I've got 11,000 subscribers, I want those 11,000 people to watch that video with the time it's took me. So if I do something totally random like a Honda Jazz, they'll just be like, Tom, what are you doing? And the 100 of you that have been here tonight, probably hardcore, watch the channel, I think, yeah, whatever he does, I'll watch it. But there's people that are going to reject it, and that's what I always fear when I release a video. What's everyone saying here? Tom, did you say last week that you wanted to do a background on what your family do? How do you mean, Soph? Well, it's our new Friday night pub song, thanks for bringing us out. Well, there you go, as long as I can keep some people entertained. What's going on? Tom's pub and chat bros. Port scratchings, oh mate. Port scratchings in a warm Carling. Get off, you don't drink Carling, Ben. Come on, I thought better of you than that. Rather than tipping me, invest in some proper beer, Ben. If you make it, they will come. Andy, what do you mean, mate? I think I missed something there. Stephen King, funny you've asked about that. The sales of the indicator stocks. It never happened after Bingley Hall, because what happened was, I've got them here with me now, and I'm glad you said that. So let me just get them in my hands. So I've got them there. Leather stitching, obviously. The ends just, I've dropped it. 1 second. The ends just come off, and you slide them on and screw them into place, and that's it, done. But, and then obviously we've got the handbrake levers as well with stitching. But what happened was, after Bingley Hall, we ran into a bit of, I said to the guy that made them, we could do with making them where they were a bit baggy for certain types of indicator stocks, because there's so many different Lucas brands you could buy, and the ones that I had in my car are a bit baggy, so we had to get some calipers and measure them, and we remachined them to a different size, and that took about a month to get right. And then all this stuff happened with the COVID and all that, so everything went on hold, and we've not actually manufactured any. There's so many people emailing me each week saying, I want a set, and I just can't do anything with it because of what's going on, so they will be on sale soon. Right, then go. What's everyone saying? See you later, everyone. Until next time. See you later, Mike. See you in a bit, mate. Joking on the Amstel tonight. Yeah, Amstel's great, but I find I get a lot of heartburn from Amstel, so I've stopped drinking it. Tom, Field of Dreams. Dave, what? I can't remember what I said. What's a Field of Dreams? You're maybe too young, Tom. Bill and Tess, excellent adventures. Yeah, I don't know. I feel old, mate. I feel like since I turned 21, my life's just flashing before my eyes. Hello, fella. Love the hair. You came to my manor for the mini run. Manor. Came to your manor for the mini run. Did I? RJ Auto? Which mini run? Remind me. So much has happened in my life over the past 2 years, I forgot. Do you carry tools in your Mini when you go? Yes, I do. I carry a FACM socket set, and that is FACM, nothing else. Don't do any innuendos. I carry a FACM socket set. I carry a small, compact RG jump starter, a couple of flathead screwdrivers, a couple of Aussie drivers, and a pair of snips and a packet of cable ties. So if you wonder what the cable ties are for, it's if anything falls off, I can cable tie it up. And I also carry a bit of singles cable, because copper, I can strip it and, you know, tie anything up. just in case anything goes wrong, and a set of spark plugs, a fan belt, and what else do I carry? A couple of Jubilee clips for when a hose blows off or something like that. Campbell Hicks, Tom, I watched the channel because I'm restoring a Mini full of rust and want to see how you did yours, so I know what I'm up for. When you change cars, I'll watch, and if it's interesting and entertaining. Well, Campbell, if you like my content in the way it's structured now, and I did a different car, it would still be structured the same, but just based on a different car. So hopefully, if you like it now, you'll like what I do in the future. Consider restoring classic Vespa after this. Bikes and cars. Now this my friend Adam Parker, he's done a Vespa and it looks absolutely mint. Gorgeous thing. Would love it. And I'd love to do a bike, but again, I feel like my audience would reject me for doing something totally different. Just wait till 40 minutes of blur. Of course not, we're the TCR Mafia instead. Oh my god. I see you at Crystal Palace with your friend in the wheelchair and live along the open path. Oh yes, I remember. Sorry about that, mate. Like I say, it's been a long time since that. I remember that. Triton Munger, you know what they say, variety is the spice of Shorrock life. Bring on the reviews. Again, honestly, I'd love to. 100% watch a bike series. Well, my dad, if he is watching, my dad loves his Vespas. See you later, Dave. Catch you in a bit, mate. My dad loves his Vespas, and if it's something that we could do as a side project between us, I'd 100% do it. Bike content, no way. Yes, Andy Whitelaw, you asked if we have questions. Yes, any questions? That is getting to the time. So how long have we been on now? 86 minutes. 5 minutes and I'm going to go, guys, just because I'm hogging the internet and I need to spend some time with my family and just, you know, check on life and things. So if you want to get any questions in now in the next 5 minutes, I'll be answering them. But other than that, I'll be signing off. Restore a plane, Ben. Yeah, mate, buy me an aircraft hangar and I will. I'll try my best. Restore a plane. What's Sophie drinking tonight? She's on fire. Oh, she's probably necked a full bottle of rosé or something like that. My question is, where is my 10mm socket? Probably where you was last working, mate, and it's rolled underneath something, and you pull that out and then it rolled the opposite way and then you find it on top of the roof of your car. That tends to be what happens to me. What's your opinion on white and black plates? Absolutely love them. If you can get away with running them on your car without getting pulled over by the police, that is personally what I would do. I'm not telling you to do that because I can't do anything. Ben, again, stop it. Ben's got a habit for this. He's, I feel like I'm paid to view, but Ben seems to tip. Honestly, thanks, mate. I really appreciate that. But yeah, white and black plates, love them. Convert a car to electric. Phil, would love to. Got no clue what I'm doing. Then again, I've got no clue with that. Honestly, the problem I've got is that the garage is only 2.4 metres wide. The width is what I struggle with. The length, no, I don't struggle in the length department. Sophie will tell you that. But the width struggle. So when we've done the house in Wales and everything's sorted, we're hoping to live there for a bit and then buy another house. And then once we've got this other house, we're going to put a big garage on it. And when I've got that, that is when cars and stuff will go mental. What we're saying. Last question, then, what can we expect from the channel in 2020? Again, this is, I want to spice things up with content. I want to do different cars. I want to just, you know, I don't want my channel to be about what I'm doing. I want to turn up to people's houses that have got great cars, and I want to be like, right, you tell me about this car and I'll video it. And I want to make the experience about you telling me about your car. So there's that, meeting people, doing different things. Road trips, especially the Top Gear knockoff challenge, which is really what I wanted to do, but that'll probably be next year now. And then there was something that this room was actually built for. It was a TCR podcast, and it was something we was going to do once a week or once a month, depending how hard they were to do. And it was to get 3 mates to sit in here and just talk pure nonsense about cars, petrol, whatever you want to do, and upload it so people can listen to it or watch it, and it's something I really want to do. So the 3 things I want to see in 2020 from the channel when everything gets back to normal is a TCR podcast, meeting people in their own cars and telling their own stories, and me being a producer rather than someone telling you about it and the presenter of it, and obviously the road trips. That's what I really want to do. As I was saying, restore a Honda 50. Welcome to this. There's a room. There's a room in room 101 full of table sockets and spanners. Yes, there is. Cheaper than drinking in a pub on a Friday night. So you're welcome, Ben. Honestly, cheers, mate. I appreciate it. Ben, are you in a band? I can't actually remember. I think I dropped you a message last week. If you're in a band and you've got music, I'll use it. You should check out Caffeine and Machine. No, I really want to go there, Max. I've never been actually yet. If you wanted to convert a car to electric, check out Formula Student Electric Teams. I used to do it and learn a lot for those. I'll check that out, Elwood. That sounds great. Thank you. Total opposite to me because I'm teetotal. No worries. So for the last question, how does your girlfriend what does she drinking? 70 now. Off now. Take. See you later, mate. See you later. TCR vlog. Yes, Tom. Seen a bit. Can have a chat about podcasting as well as policing. We need to get you on Adobe. Yeah, Reese, honestly, just drop me a message on Instagram. You seem very knowledgeable, and someone like you I could do with a chat with, really, and just getting to know you, because I do everything I do editing wise. I've taught myself. I do too much. I need to start saying to people, look, I want you to help me. We'll do this together and we'll split it. There's too much I do on there, and I just can't delegate my time to the right things. Can I have a chat about podcasts? Yeah, it's brilliant. Andy Whitelaw, thank you very much for the donation. Honestly, you didn't really have to do that, and I really appreciate it. What I will say is any donations that are made, they go straight back into the channel, whether it be buying software to edit better videos, buying cameras, different lenses, doing the car, buying repair panels. Some of the revenue that we got from last week when people donated with the names mentioned at the start actually went to buying these repair pieces. So like I say, it keeps me going, it keeps me afloat, and it allows me to produce more content and film more stuff without worrying about how I'm going to, continue to build. So honestly, Andy, thank you. And Ben, I'll say it again, thank you to you as well. Dude, I got back to you about the music. Once you reply to my email, I'll send you some tracks. But Ben, I'll have to. Did you reply to me on Instagram? Because I checked that the other day and I don't know if it's come through properly. If you've sent me an email, then I need to double check. It might have gone in my junk. Take care, mate, and see you next week. Oh, I've been roped into doing this again next week. Bloody hell. So next week, does everyone want another live stream? Cheers, Max. That'll be great. That if I can film his Granada, that'll be his kick-off to the newer content. That'll be brilliant. Ben, I'll check for that message, mate. Honestly, Jacob Champion tips on starting welding. Honestly, get your welder, get some practice bits of metal, have a go, get wound up, get stressed, speak to a few people, and just tweak the settings. If you've got a transformer welder like mine, I found the best setting for welding 0.9 steel is to have it the heat on 1 max and the wire speed on 7 and the gas on as minimal as possible, and it just seems to work. Anything more than that, it's just a nightmare. But that's for 0.9. Obviously it's different for thicker metals, but just get a MIG welder and have a go. If you get a MIG welder and you spend a day messing around with it, before you know it, you'll be able to weld. It's TIG welding that's hard. It's something I've always wanted to learn and I've not got around to. Next week, please. Yes, please. Yes, please. Yeah, do it again. Good little pub this. Cheers, man. Only if you're up for it, Tom. They're good fun. Graham, do you know what? I'll do it. It gives me something to do. My mum was taking the mick out of me before for this. She was saying, why do you have a shower, do your hair and put aftershave on when you're only going sitting in the garage so no one can smell you? It's like, I don't know. I said, it just feels like I've got to be presentable to my audience. So yeah, I do make an exception for you. Simpsons Classics pub tomorrow. Yeah, I'll be tuning in for that. I'll do it next week for you then. Definitely do this again. James, I can't believe, honestly, I'm sure there's many of you that have watched this. I think Ben has, and James all the way through. I don't understand how my Manc accent can be this entertaining for this long. Next week, please, home account email. Yes, I will. Oh, smell great. Tripemonger, thank you very much for that. You honestly didn't need to do that. That is again, it blows my mind when people are willing to just tip money like that. it's just, like I say, I don't do this for money. I do it because I enjoy it, and it's not a hassle to me. I mean, it is, I must admit, what a lot of people probably don't see is before these live streams, I get in here about an hour before, I get my music set up that isn't copyrighted, obviously, and I'll start listening to like The Who or whatever, and Miles Kane. And one of the songs I've been listening to lately before these streams to like rev me up is Inhaler by Miles Kane. And I play that, and I just sort of prance around the room. I'm literally just like this. I'm just like, oh God, we're going live. What we're going to do? And I've got to think, you now, Tom, have got to talk and entertain people for as long as this live stream goes without going quiet. And it is a very worrying thing to do. And I like to think I succeed at it, and if I do, let me know. But honestly, I get nerves before all this all day. I'm going around the house and I'm thinking, I've got a live stream tonight. We're going to talk about what if no one comments, and I just have to learn to waffle, basically. You have a nice British accent. Honestly, Ruben, there's better ones than mine. Another great lock-in at Shorrock. Cheers, Tripe Monger, thank you. Listening to you waffling has been a pleasure somehow. Well, Crazy Craig, thank you very much. You're up here for the banter. Cheers, Tom. Looking forward to next week. I'm off. See you later, Jacob. Escape homeschooling the kids at the week. You don't have to stress. You're only human, mate. Gracie said, night, night, Tom. See you in a bit. Gracie, my little sister, love you. No worries, Tom. Keep going, keep going. Yorkshire accent got the win. You're doing great. Well, guys, I said 5 minutes. It's actually been 10 minutes, and I think it is time to sign off. But to round the numbers up, we're at 96 minutes streaming now. We'll get to 100 minutes. If anyone has got any last things they want to say, get them in now, because I am going to go. And in 4 minutes' time, I'll be signing off. I'll be going in the house, binning the empty bottles, cracking up another one, and reminiscing on the adrenaline buzz that I've got from this. Thanks, mate. Been a good night again. Enjoy these streams. See you next week, mate. David Bowler. See you later, mate. Don't go my life. It's too boring. Tom. Ruben, it isn't, mate. Honestly, find something to do. You'll be right. Thanks again. Thanks again. No worries, guys. Honestly, thank you. The 3 people that dislike this video clearly own a Mondeo. I said it, Ben. I say it every week, mate. The dislikes, they actually help me. So people want to dislike, continue. It's classed as engagement on YouTube and interactions. Some of the most viewed videos on YouTube have got a massive proportion of dislikes and a tiny proportion of likes, and they make a fortune in the videos. Favourite modern supercar? Oh God, this is a difficult question. Favourite modern supercar? Wow, it's not something I normally keep up to date with, but a favourite modern supercar? It's just difficult. So put supercar. What's the Ferrari called? Is it an F12? The one that's like a hatchback but isn't that Ferrari? Or is it a 48? No, it's not. It's a 488. It's a Ferrari 488 GTO. That is my favourite supercar. Thank you so much, Tom. I appreciate his live streams. Please, no worries. Ruben, bring Team Slap it on the next live shot. Levelwitz. Until the government lift the rules, shot Levelwitz, I can't, because my dad lives at a different address. So lockdown, we're not allowed to see each other. So until the government lift the rules, I can't get him round, I'm afraid. So I also have to read. What do you think of mini travellers, Cam's cars? Well, based on the fact that a Clubman estate basically is a mini traveller with a square front, I have to say that I like them, I suppose. The dislikes Defo Drive a Vauxhall Nova. I've got one actually. The modern lights, how do you get the indicator function to work and only get the daylight running lights right? There's 2 cables on it, there's a red and a yellow. The yellow one's connecting into your hazard lights, so there should be a black cable that comes off your hazard lights with a green stroke in it. You have to cut into that and join it into that, and it should work, if I remember correctly. If you look at my video on installing them when the police were called, that's how you wire them in. What's everyone saying? Tom, when are you hoping to move? Pete, I was hoping to be in the house by Christmas, but we've not been there now for 2.5 months. I had to go for an emergency 2 weeks ago because EDF were threatening to cut the electricity off because I'd not paid my bill. And turns out they'd set it up in the wrong account. I was paying for next door's electricity rather than mine, so I had to go and get a meter reading. So I had to drive 200 miles just to get a bloody meter reading. and I was itching to get back to work, but I think it'll be next Christmas now with the amount of work that he's doing. We've got Velux windows to put in the roof. I've got another steel to put in. It's just going to be chaos basically. What's this one? What's someone saying? Once Turd Tech is done, you'll have to do a comparison video with a mini standard estate. Yes, no, I will, and I'm going to do that. Yeah, driving over boom and drink warm Carlin. You know the score, Ben. Yes, I do. Right, we're on 99 minutes. Honestly, anyone else want to say anything before I go? Because at 100 minutes I'm signing off. If any of you haven't already done so, click the thumbs up. If none of you are actually subscribed and press the notification bell, click that now because it does help. Obviously, bigger ratings, the bigger the channel gets, the bigger the budget is and the more exotic cars that we can do. You're awesome. Thank you, mate. Reese, like I say, drop me a message on Instagram. We'll chat technical stuff, editing and that, and hopefully you can help me out and I can help you out. You should get... what's this? Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. Said it, mate. Sorry, Andy, I said it. You're awesome. Thank you. Stay safe, guys. See you all next week. You know the score. Thank you. That's all. Right, guys, 100 minutes is up. Thank you very much for tuning in. Again, thank you to everybody that donated on this and made a contribution via the super chat, whatever it's called. And obviously, that's not the be all and end all. Thank you all for tuning in. Thank you all for watching the videos. And I mean it. It blows my mind that that people can find me this interesting for so long. So, with all that said, guys, stay safe. Enjoy what you're doing. And I think that I might have to join you all next week with maybe a few more Morettis and a few beverages. So, see you all later. I'll join you next Friday. And yeah, get your questions coming in ready on the YouTube post that I'll drop tomorrow. And hopefully we can waffle some more banter, waffle some more shizer, drink some more beer, and you can join me in the TCR Shorrock Lifestyle pub.